What's up, everybody? And of course, it's your man GMO, aka non-GMO. And I put non-GMO. Oh, I gotta correct that one. That is old age talking.
None. They ain't got none of the genetically modified opinions.
And of course, I am joined by my great co-hostess,
The Blue Phoenix.
And this is
Both Sides of the Coin.
Now, of course, we do have a surprise great guest, of course, that we always deal with on every Thursday. We're waiting real quick because I wanted to show something really quickly, okay? I wanted to put a bar for what we're getting ready to talk about and see if we can come up with this. Everybody listen to this one real quick.
What is love? Love is seeing somebody as they deserve to be seen, as they really are. Not through the lens of the behaviors they might be displaying in the moment, and absolutely positively, not by what they might be producing in terms of grades or scores or awards. When a child is loved, seen, known as they deserve to be seen, is what gives them the confidence now in the moment, and trust me, far into their adult lives, to take the chances that will allow them to recover even during difficult times.
All right. Now, we introduce Just Star, everybody.
Hey, both sides of the coin family.
Yes, this is a real show. Hey, honey bun, how are you?
What's happening?
Yes. Hey, Reese. Hey, y'all. I'm excited to be here. Hi.
Good. We're happy for you to be here. I wasn't expecting it after our conversation, but I'm glad you made it.
Yes. So for those of y'all at home, I have the flu, but I love y'all so much. Here I am.
Did you just pop your? You did the.
Yes. Hey, listen, I love me some Tamar. Once I saw her do it, I had to perfect it.
What's up, Reese? What's up, Nick? So listen, what I just played, right? You heard that, right, Star?
I did.
All right. What did you ladies draw from that? Because, well, you know what? Matter of fact, let me fall back because the subject matter is actually from the beautiful Blue Phoenix herself. Blue Phoenix.
Okay, so this topic came up from a conversation we were having before. And so, of course, I have some definition for you guys, but I'm glad you brought that video up because, of course, he talked about it, which is really cool. He talked about it in a sense of a child. But the fact of the matter is adults are just grown children. And a lot of times we do not have or have not received that love that he was speaking of in the video. So unconditional, I separated. Unconditional means without restriction by conditions or qualifications. Love and its intense feeling of deep affection or a great interest and pleasure in something. And like he described in the video, unconditional love would be love without strings. It is love you offer freely. You don't base it on what someone does for you in return. You simply love them and want nothing more than their happiness. It is a selfless act.
For some reason, your mic had faded, but we can hear you.
But
it just sounded like you was far away. It's all good.
Oh, no. Can you hear me now? How I sound now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened was somebody called me.
Okay.
And that's what happened. Okay, so I'm going to read unconditional love again. Is without strings. It is love you offer freely. You don't base it on what someone does for you in return. You simply love them and want nothing more than their happiness. It is a selfless act.
Okay. That actually is one of the perfect definitions. Star, do you actually have a definition of unconditional love that you live by?
I agree with the definition, but I think the only thing that was missing from it is hard work. You know, like in my everyday life, I try to lead with love in every situation. And when you're trying to give unconditional love, you have to give a lot of grace. People make you mad. Sometimes you can see that their intentions are malicious, and you still got to try to find the love in you to deal with that situation or that person properly. So I think the only thing missing from it is the fact that, the ideology of love is quite beautiful, especially when you delve into unconditional love. But people often forget that love is an action word. It's not just, oh, I love you. As women, I have a thing for shoes and matching purses. So I constantly say, oh, I love shoes as long as I get a matching bag. But do I actually love the shoes? No.
Well, that's
So
where
it's
the
a
other
word taken
definition,
very
but
lightly.
see, I'm sorry, the two definitions that I read before were the noun of love. The verb of love is like or enjoy very much. So that's what you explained about the shoes and the purses. There are different
Yeah.
definitions of it, but regardless of, yeah, and Reese, let me read it. She said, Reese said, happy belated birthday, Star. She
Thank
also says, the
you.
only human that ever loved me like that was my grandparents. I never tried to disappoint them, but even if I did something bad, they still loved me through it all. She said, I do
Yeah.
not believe that I have ever been loved, maybe by a man when it came to a relationship. She said, yes, Star, grace, and mercy and forgiveness. Okay,
Yes,
so
absolutely.
all of these things should not be something you have to work on. These are things that you should already have within you. One time, Mo and I was on Nick's show, The Audacity, and we talked about how we shouldn't do, hey, quick, we shouldn't say that relationships are work, that you got to work at a relationship because it's not a job. I mean, it is something that you do, but at your job, you're working for money. And a lot of times you resent the people that you work for. So you shouldn't have that mentality in a relationship or a friendship or something like that. Love, in a sense, takes time and commitment. It takes compromising sometimes. It just takes respect most of all. And so with unconditional love or with love in general, this is something that one should be freely given. But the difference is the tolerance. You can have unconditional love. That does not mean you have to have unconditional tolerance, which is something that
Absolutely.
what you were talking
I
about.
think
There's
that's
a
what we're
difference.
getting at is the strings.
Yeah.
Nah, right.
No,
Because you
no,
have to work at
Okay, I
tolerance.
don't
tying
think
your
it's so
shoes.
much.
You
It's
have to
not the
learn
Tolerance.
how to tie
tolerance
your
for me.
shoes, right? So those
But
are
wait a
strings,
minute.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But it's not unconditional tolerance. See, so for me, I'm gonna break down how I see that, right? So let's say a ex that you have children with, okay? You don't have to be in love with that person, but you have to present and receive a certain amount of love between you and that person to steer those children properly. And that has nothing to do with tolerance, but that's why I said work. Humans are flawed. And in any situation that there was opposition, the person hurt you, the person put you off, anything like that, it's easy to just dismiss that person and just be done with it. It doesn't have to be any ill will or nothing like that. But to exhibit unconditional love is it's like it said, selfless. It's remembering other people involved. So that's what I mean by it's hard work. It's not hard to get and give unconditional love, but it does need to be maintained. That's no different than anything else that you build. You feel where I'm coming from? Your car needs routine maintenance. You feel me? So your love and how you deal with people should also have a certain level of maintenance so that you can maintain it properly. So that was my standpoint. And as far as tolerance, no, it's never okay to let someone disrespect you in the name of unconditional love. It's never okay to keep allowing someone to hurt you. You can give someone unconditional love and you can care and you can do that, from a distance if it comes to that. So I don't agree with unconditional tolerance.
This is
That's what
where.
I was saying, Star. But
Okay,
you
I'm
just
sorry.
basically
Yeah.
reiterated what I was saying. Go ahead.
Well, Reese Cup said that I disagree because that man don't even have to be around. Now, see, I have to cut it right there because now we're going into the battle of the sexes again. This is the divide. What we're trying to do here is bridge the gap because we're talking about
Exactly.
unconditional love as a whole,
Mhm.
Reese. Of course, I can definitely get ignorant and blame women at all times. Okay, I don't have the greatest relationships with my birth mother. I have not seen the best in women, and I can always blame her for a lot of the disparities and the problems that I've had with women, right? Which I have definitely done in the past. So let's try to steer away and try to heal at this moment. Go ahead, take that over, Phoenix.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say something about that too, because people think of love and they automatically assume relationship. You have love in different aspects, like on a video of your children. You love your friends, you love your family, you love your pets. You know, it doesn't have to be just a man and woman or woman or whatever type of intimate relationship. It doesn't have to be based on that. But again, like what Star was saying, you got to deal with that as well, you know, the respect and everything. Another thing too, we tend to forget that giving of love and sharing of love and unconditional, conditional, whatever, because a lot of people love with conditions. We have to give that to ourselves. You can't really love someone else unconditionally if you're not able to love yourself that way. And then if you're not able to do that with yourself, that's how you end up loving other people with conditions.
Let me ask you this. When you say things like that, right, to forgive yourself, right, that would mean that you would have to think about yourself, I mean, in a selfish manner, right? I mean, let's be honest. For me to forgive myself solamente or only, you know what I mean, and give myself unconditional love. What is that? We got to break that down to the bare. What does it take to love yourself unconditionally?
Yeah. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean not loving other people or not caring for others. But love, in another word, is care. You care for yourself. You give that time to yourself. You get to know yourself. You spend time with yourself. You can go and go to a movie. I mean, hey, if that's how you want to do it. Sometimes we gotta love yourself, and hey, sometimes you gotta do that.
That's another type of love.
But hey, that love works too. Sometimes you gotta, you know. But anyway, sometimes that's how it has to be. Also, another way of loving yourself is also dealing with the things that hurt you from the past, that either you allowed or people violated you with. Not only sexually, just whatever. You have to deal with those things and let them go, because that's another way of loving yourself. And it also helps you relieve yourself of pouring that on other people.
I think in order to truly love yourself, you have to understand the concept of duality. You know, a lot of people miss that because the way we are typically raised as a society is that it's only love when you give, and completely ignore yourself. And I don't think that's true. You know, I was raised that way. I've lived my life that way. And now we just say boundaries, but it's being able to give and be selfish. That's the duality in it. Like, for instance, if you are busy 6 days a week and you only have one day to yourself, it's okay to turn off your phone and not give advice. It's okay to say, hey, you know, no disrespect, but, you know, I'll be meditating from 4 to 6. Please don't call me. Please don't come to my house. Like, other people will say, oh, that's selfish. It's not. You have 6 other days where you can talk to me, deal with me, and get anything you need from me. It is not selfish to say this day is mine. One thing that Weezy constantly said to me that I realized a vast majority of people in my life had been saying, and I just had not been comprehending, because I heard them, but I was not comprehending, is the statement, you cannot pour from an empty cup. If I have nothing left for myself, what could I possibly have for you? So you have to remember that in loving, that's part of loving yourself. Saying, okay, I don't want to do nothing today. I just want to lay in the bed and stare at my ceiling. And you have to be okay with that, because that's part of loving yourself.
Boundaries, like you said, yeah.
So everybody's mentioning boundaries, right? Boundaries. Self-love. I keep asking this, and I feel like I'm spinning the block, right? But I just want to make sure that we get a hold of this when it comes to self-care, you know, everything. Because when you say self, that doesn't mean unconditional, because usually unconditional is something that you have to give.
No.
Unconditional love is something that you give to the world. You give to things.
So why, if you can give it to the world, why can't you give it to yourself?
Yeah,
Okay,
and I
so
think the better term for what you're trying to convey, or I think unconditional love is not something that you give. I think unconditional love would be classified as acceptance. When you're trying to give that to yourself, you have to accept your flaws and things like that. So I think it's more so acceptance, not giving.
hmm,
Like it's just as simple as so for instance, you two, I love y'all unconditionally. What does that mean for me? It means I accept you as who you are. I'm not trying to change you. I'm not, it is what it
There's
is.
no
You are who you are.
expectation at
Absolutely.
all. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
You drop all expectations of this person and you see them for who
Yes.
they are, and
And
you
you allow a
accept who they
person
are.
to be comfortable being who
Mm-hmm.
they are.
Mm-hmm.
for me, I've always allotted people the time to change for themselves. Um, I think that's one of the things that I value in the word unconditional is that to allot the person the time to be themselves. Uh, naturally, through thick or thin, arguments, all that stuff, to give that person a chance to just be like, all right, bet. The boundaries are always set when it's like, I don't see it in the near future. I don't see it like where do we draw the line when it comes to people? We're gonna get into children and family, right? But let's just talk about the world. The people that we deal with in the world that we give or we allot unconditional love to. What is the boundaries that you have to set with people that are familiar but not as close as family, friends, and children?
I think it's an individual thing. It depends on each person because each person you deal with, they're different. Some people don't respect spaces. Some people don't respect your wishes. Some people just don't give a fuck. Excuse the language, but they just don't. So each individual person comes with their own perception or projection that they may want to put on you. You have your own projection or perception of things. And so I think it's an individual, it's a case by case thing when it comes to boundaries. Also, a lot of people, I'm going to say myself, did not get the opportunity to have boundaries growing up. So I had to learn how to set boundaries because growing up for me, I was for everybody. I had to do for everybody, I had to look out for everybody, I had to take care of everybody. And it was never take care of me. It was never what I need because it was always give, 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 give. You have to learn that some people are there to take. Some people are just opportunists. They capitalize off you. It just depends. Hey, Zena, what it is. And so as I became older, and I'm gonna say my family, they were the takers, like for real. I cared for them. I take care of them. I still love my family very much so, but I have to learn to back off because I was pouring from an empty vessel. I was lighting the candle at both ends and in the middle, taking care of everyone, taking care of my children, and not taking care of myself. So when you step back and look at how you feel, how the examples or things around you, and if you start saying no and you notice that people have a problem, that's who you need to back up off. That's who you need to cut off. If people don't love you enough to respect what you need, those are the ones you need to back up off. Because love is
Yeah.
also respect. People forget that.
And sometimes it can be your parents. Parents
Yes.
naturally feel that they have claim to you and everything about you. And once you become an adult, that's not true. Like me, I'm literally just starting to learn to set boundaries. I'm also one of those ones that give, whole family, and not spilling all of my tea, but I had a conversation with my mom just a couple days ago, And she's telling me, well, you don't need to do this and you don't need to do that, and I think you should, and I keep telling you. And then I had to ask her, like, seriously, during the conversation, did you ever consider what I want and what I need? Do you understand that you're one of the people in my life that is just me, 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 I, and not for anything. I understand that you have wisdom because you've lived a life, but at the end of the day, I'm your daughter, I'm not you. My experiences still won't be the same no matter how much they parallel your own. And I had to actually break that down to her. And even though I didn't get aggressive or disrespect her, I was setting my boundary, letting her know, like, I appreciate your wise counsel, but keep in mind, I'm driving the car that's called my life. I make the final decision on if I'm going to take your advice or not. And you can't be mad at that because I have that right.
Yeah. It gets deep. And God damn it, I gotta go here. And Reese had mentioned it earlier. This is the battle of the sexes, and nobody is more important than the other ones. But as men, I don't know if we are necessarily taught unconditional love, even by our beautiful, great mothers that have raised us to be the gentlemen that we can be. We're still just taught to be the protector and protect our feelings more so, than anything. Not that we want to be open, and give unconditional love, but it tends to be a little bit harder for us because we are pillars in our communities and our families when we are, great men, and when we can be around and when we can support that. What is unconditional love to us, as men? Our love always comes with conditions when it comes to us. If we get hurt, if we can't work, if we can't do anything, we've seen the worst of the worst when it comes to conditions to love. I'm trying not to say so much, but having made mistakes as a man in relationships, out of relationships, to family disappointments that I've had, failures, they've always come with a lot of BS, hurtful things, being looked down upon. Do women experience the same things when y'all have failures in life, or do you get more of the real unconditional love?
I think I'm gonna let Weezy break down that
No,
specific question. I just wanted to say, when you were describing the men's experience, I think for Black men specifically, I think y'all are raised and taught to seek unconditional love, but that if you give it, it's deemed weak. That's what I think it is for Black men. You know, the machismo and stuff like that. Oh, you loving on her, like, what I'm saying, you a simp. So I think, your mothers teach you to seek it, but your counterparts, you know, make y'all feel that y'all are weak for giving it.
and that was a question I was going to ask. Are you saying that you don't receive the unconditional love, or you can't give it?
I have never experienced unconditional love. 42 years on this planet.
A lot of
One,
us haven't, though.
but you know what? I will never downplay anybody else's experience, and that is true. That is true. So before I blurt out anything, you know, crazy, you're right. You're right about that. Nobody else's experience on this planet is different from the other ones. I guess it's all a matter of perception.
Oh, well, hold on. Let me stop
Uh,
you. I was
Oh
not
yeah, go
attempting to
ahead.
diminish what you said. I was saying that in the context of, it's sad that a lot of us have not been able to experience. So I'm not diminishing your experience. I'm just saying it's a sad thing to know that it's a lot of us that have been there where you've been. That's all.
And we also need to see what's our personal definition of unconditional love too, because sometimes the expectation of what we think certain things are, or the expectation of what we want, may not necessarily be what unconditional love is. Say this: men are usually looked at as the providers, the protectors, right? And a lot of times, if you don't do those things, you're talked down on. You ain't shit. You know, this is that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then you have people who may not necessarily look at you in that way. Again, we can go to the children. Children are a beautiful example of unconditional love. A beautiful example. Because they may be mad with you, but they still love you and they'll get over whatever happened. You know, the thing is, we have to go back into that part of our life. You know what? One thing about me that bothers me sometimes, but it is a wonderful thing, is I have still have a very childlike belief within myself of people. I forgive very easily, and I don't care how many times I've been hurt. I'm still going to forgive you. I might back off some, but I'm not going to mistreat you, and I'm not going to, you know, make it seem like you ain't shit, because I can see who you are and I understand. But having that childlike belief in people hurts a lot. But it still does not change how I look at you, look at anybody. You know, even my ex-husband, this man in the hospital now. Right before he went into, a couple weeks before he went in the hospital, I was ready to shoot his neck off. Okay? Did he deserve it? Hell yeah.
Not his neck.
This is for educational purposes. None of this is true.
She didn't say the big toe or ear. She said the neck.
This is an expression and a metaphor. This is
Thank
not
you
real.
for trying to preserve my innocence there. But anywho, yeah. But he went into the hospital, and because this man is my children's father, I'm going to make sure he's straight. Now, I be wondering sometimes, because he in the hospital, but that attitude ain't changed. But the fact of the matter is, he has went from an intimate partner to now considered a family member to me. And I take care of my family.
And that's the basis to unconditional love.
Yeah, it's my children's father. And I would never do anything purposefully to cause harm to him. Though mentally, this man has been out of here several times. For my children, I'll do anything. And that's their father. So, you know, that's just me. I have been given this gift, and it's a wonderful gift. It hurts a lot. But the fact of the matter is, we have to present, or we have to come into this world. Though this world, it hurts, it's terrible. This world doesn't care about nobody. But if we look at everybody in a childlike way and see them for who they are, it will not be hard to love them. It will not be hard to care for them. Not take care, give care. That's another thing. I give care to people. I give care because I know what it feels like not to get it. And we have to learn, regardless of how people treat you, you still be yourself and you still do it. So that's an example of unconditional love. Because I'm telling you.
Go ahead, Star.
Yep. I was just going to say, and unconditional love of self, we as a people have to remember that intuition, listen to it. That is yourself telling yourself.
Don't ignore it.
Exactly. Part of unconditional love is listening to that little voice within you that says, don't do this, don't say that, don't go here, don't go there. Like, oftentimes we put that aside just to give people the benefit of the doubt. But you got to remember, you need to start giving unconditional love to yourself too.
Yes.
So when yourself says, okay, wait a minute, take that moment and listen to it. Don't completely ignore yourself.
Let's talk about that, because I'm pretty sure every human being that is talking and listening right now that has talked to other human beings in their lifetime. We have people well in their 30s, listening right now that are chiming in our audience. What about unconditional love when it comes to self-love? I think that we all beat ourselves down for the most part, right? Who is setting this gold standard? Who is setting this gold standard for us to feel down about our mistakes and everything? Like, let's think about that. What is it all here? Is it just us overthinking life? Do we care too much about other people? I mean, because
think it's I think it's propaganda and media. Like, when you think about it, who sets the standards? Like, think about, okay, so diamonds became a big thing in, I think it was the 40s. But that ideology that still lives on today simply came from the diamond industry. Diamonds were being mined. It's not the rarest gem, so it was not selling. So actually their K's Jewelers, I don't know what their name was back then, I can't remember, but they started putting out commercials. You haven't really proposed if you don't present her with a diamond, and who doesn't love diamonds? And so
and diamonds
literally,
are the world's best friend.
Absolutely, that was the slogan that they started with, and it has lasted the test of time because now it's 2023 and there's still songs being made about it. The rappers, gotta have diamond grills, diamonds on my neck. They calling it being iced out, when the truth of the matter is you're actually flossing what is considered among the precious gemstones community to be a worthless gemstone. Rubies are worth more than diamonds.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that. So is pearls. Back before the diamond industry took over, men were proposing with pearl engagement rings, not diamond.
Are we looking for, when we say unconditional love, are we looking for perfection? Has that been confused with?
Yeah, I
everything?
think that's why people feel like they never received it. Nobody's perfect. And again, we have to drop expectations. How dare you expect somebody to be perfect when you not even perfect? Like, how can you expect somebody to do or be a certain way when you can't even be a certain way? My thing is
Lord.
this: I would not expect somebody to do something for me that I would not be willing or incapable of doing myself. That is a big thing. You should not expect somebody to be flawless when every 5 minutes you doing something stupid. Like, I just don't get that. So, we really have to learn to let it go. And back to your question, Mo, and Star's right, it is media and propaganda, but also our parents. They put their own expectation of us. They also trying to steer us in a way that they want us to be, and we try to live up to those expectations, and
make you feel bad if you don't.
Yeah, and then we put that on ourselves, and then we add on to it, and so we always think we're failing.
I want to read what Reese said, and this is dope. It coincides with what you guys just said. You know what I'm saying? She said it's a part of the agenda to have you feeling bad about yourself and putting numbers on your life, church, such as your self-worth. It's all a part of the plan.
Yes, it is.
Says 100.
I agree with you. And to further expound on that, the reason is because if you have self-worth, then some of the products that they market to us would never go anywhere. So they have to tear you down to build you into buying into the dream that they set for themselves. Like, let me just off the top of my head, how as Black women, we love to get our nails done. You silly. How as Black women, we love to go get our nails done. When I was a little younger, I went faithfully every 2 weeks. Your nails barely grow much in 2 weeks, but you're spending all of that money. And it was because other women my age said that that's what women do. You got to have your nails done. You got to keep your feet done and things like that. But if we had self-worth and unconditional love for ourselves, my nails grow long as I don't know what, naturally. There's things that you can eat and drink to grow your hair, grow your nails, your natural stuff. But I found myself literally cutting off my long nails to go sit somewhere where it stinks and have them glue fake ones on. Like, you really have to, you feel me? And then if you're a straight woman, you want the attention of men. And guess what? Men don't care what your nails look like. They really don't.
All rough, but they don't. Right. You don't need all that long.
Right, but it's not that serious to them. Exactly. But if I had self-worth, if I understood self-worth then and had unconditional love for myself, I wouldn't be tearing away what I had naturally to put the fake ones on.
So Reese said when you're talking about unconditional love, you're looking for acceptance point blank. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's looking for acceptance. People join
I
gangs
actually
for
agree with
acceptance.
her 100%. That's my personal view of it too. Unconditional love is acceptance. You want somebody to accept you for who you are, what you bring to the table, and the person that you are without, feeling that you're not good enough. Everybody wants to feel good enough. So I think unconditional love really does come down to acceptance in a lot of instances.
Acceptance of yourself, though. Um,
First and foremost, you're right.
yeah. To get to look for acceptance from others is not necessarily unconditional love. It's okay. So a lot of people go into depression because they don't see themselves as, they want to be a certain way that other people think they should be. So that's kind of a form of acceptance. Also, you go into depression because, things happen, of course, imbalances, of course. But a lot of people go into depression or looking at themselves as not being good enough because of what other people see. And it's kind of like Charles Horton Cooley. It's the identity theory. It's I see myself as I think you see me, not as how you see me, because I don't know how you see me, but I interpret the way you look at me or how you might stop talking or whatever as how you see me. And I never go inside to look at myself to see who I am. And that's kind of how we carry ourselves. We don't know what anybody thinks of us because they didn't tell us, but our interpretation of what we see them, how they look at us, is how we look at ourselves. And that's kind of how depression and anxiety develops. We have to kind of step back from worrying about what other people are thinking or what we think they're thinking, and just think about or go into what we think about ourselves. And that's the acceptance. You can't get acceptance from someone if you can't accept yourself. And you wouldn't be looking for acceptance from another person if you had that love for you. So
I
unconditional love
agree.
from another person is not acceptance.
Well, I guess
We're looking for.
maybe I don't
Uh-huh.
I, I don't know how to break that down. I agree with you. I don't know how to reword it, and I agree with you
No,
too.
but
There you go.
I understand. Yeah, Star, who tells our parents, who tells other women, we all got it from the same source, that false source. That false source. Yeah, it's like again, unconditional means without restriction, by conditions or qualifications. It just means open. It means free. Something you give freely. You don't have to, we kind of overcomplicate things. Not us right now, but in life we overcomplicate things when it's just freely giving,
Now,
you know.
just like you throw a boomerang, you throw it freely, right? But you know that it's coming back to you. I
Yeah.
think that unconditional love is just like that. You expect
You're not
it to
supposed to,
come back to
you
you.
can't expect it to come back. You
Okay.
can't, because not everybody can reciprocate. That reciprocity is not always going to happen. So you can't expect it to come back. Anything I give, I don't look for back. Even money. If I give somebody money, I don't look for it back because I'm not giving it to you for it to come back. I'm giving it to you because you need it. I'm giving it to you because I love you and I know you need it. And if you give it back, hey. If not, okay. But I never, anything I give of myself, it's just me giving parts of me, part
I'm
of
working
myself
on
to
that.
you. Yeah.
I'm working on that. I don't know. Me, I've been a very literal person most of my life. So, like for instance, speaking on the subject of money, if I say, "Hey Weezy, can you loan me?" as opposed to "Hey Weezy, can you give me?" So I'm now learning to just let it go, because if a person says to me, "Hey Star, loan me," then I am expecting it back, because you
Yeah.
could have just as easily just said, "Well, can
Can
you
I
give me?"
have? Yeah.
And exactly, and then I don't
Mm-hmm.
expect it to come back. So now I'm learning to not take it so literal,
Mm-hmm. No, but
in
I'm with you
situations
because
like
I used
that.
to be like that. If you want to borrow something from me,
Yeah,
you're asking to borrow. But then I'm like that too. If I say I'm gonna borrow something from you, guarantee you I'm gonna give it back, and it might give you more than
exactly,
what you gave me. But I also, that came
exactly.
from my father too, because my father, damn. Anyway, my stuff was crazy. If you borrowed $5 from this man, he wanted back with interest, and that made me be very serious. If I borrow something from you, you're getting it back. It might not be that day, but I'm gonna make sure eventually you're gonna get it back. So
Yeah,
yeah, my father did not
yeah.
play them games. He did not play
I
them
don't
games.
even let people
But
forget that I owe them money. Like it's bad. Like they people like literally they not even running me down.
yeah,
You feel where I'm
but
coming from? But
but
when we
then
talk, I'm like, hey, I didn't forget. It's still coming. And then some people is like, girl, bye. I
but you know
didn't,
what,
I
Star
didn't
too?
expect it back.
I realized
Hmm.
too that that is a trauma.
It is. It
Yes,
is. I told
because
y'all, I'm starting to learn
yeah,
a lot about myself this year, and it's definitely a trauma. My parents, arguably, without, incriminating anybody, were gangsters.
hmm
So, you can't come and borrow from them and say, I got it back on
yeah,
this
yeah,
day, and they don't
because
hear
they
from
gonna
you.
want it back, right? Yeah.
They want it back. They're coming to see you to
hmm
get it back, and I was born in the 80s. So, late 80s, early 90s mentality was, if I can't get it back the way I gave it to you, I'll get it back in blood. So it's definitely trauma because I've seen many bloody beatdowns of people who owed my dad or my mom money. Sorry to
I'm
say.
I'm glad that you brought that up, Star, because there's something that I have to openly talk about. My genuineness and giving of love was just as important as money to me. I have lashed out at so many people because I wanted my love back. I wanted those dark days that I went through to be just as understanding of me as I was of them. I have talked to so many people and let them cry. I have talked to ex-lovers before we got together about their boyfriends, but I could never bring up an ex. I could never vent. You dig what I'm saying? I'm now their property. I am owned. So I
hmm
have lashed out and beat the living shit out of people because they disrespected the love that I had given. And obviously it was not for free. So I am
hmm
very guilty of that word unconditional because I had conditions on that shit.
Right. But see, the thing is,
Uh-huh.
you can't, you shouldn't feel guilty because if you weren't taught that or you weren't shown that, of course you're going to want. See, when you're the strong friend or you're the one who is always the listening ear, it can take a toll on you, and you do want somebody to vent to. I'm that person. This is why I had to learn to. And I wasn't always here. I've always been the ear, though. I've always been the friend. I've always been the giving of love. I've always been that person. But I used to get angry too because why is it that you can dump on me and I can't even tell you what's wrong with me for 5 minutes? But I also am able to look at people and just see them and know that they can only offer this. I can't give them what I have because what I have will be way too heavy for them because what they have for me is a feather. You know what I'm saying? People can talk to me all the time. I'm good. I know how to release it. Everybody can't do that. So I had to learn, and like what you said, Mo, you expected that the reciprocity. Everybody can't do it. Everybody cannot carry what you can carry. Everybody is not able to receive what you can give. So it's like, as hard as it is, be like, give yourself grace. We just said that. You have to forgive yourself for that because you did not know. When you know, you must do. So if you knew, you would not expect that. And you also probably wouldn't have been as open. You have to learn how to back off, especially when you're a free giver. You just got to learn to let go sometimes. He said, they always say that there's no money in a cure and there's no money in peace because there's money in wars. They will have everybody fighting each other and themselves. And Camille, once I get 10 million, I'm gonna give you 2. Okay, I got you, baby. I got you.
That was
So
beautiful, Weezy. Can you back up and repeat that? Because a lot of people don't understand that. There's no money in the cure. Break that down. Say that one more time, please, for everybody. Let them
She
hear you
said,
again.
that they always say there's no money in the cure and there's no money in peace because there's money in wars. They will have everybody fighting each other and themselves. Basically, The government
Amen.
the government cannot capitalize off of peace, and they cannot capitalize off of cures. All this money that we donate, maybe like 4 to 5 to 10% goes to the causes. The administration has fees. The people that are doing those fundraisers have fees. By the time they get Red Cross and the things for African and the children and the pets, they don't get all that money, which is why they're always fundraising. These are millionaires behind the scenes, probably billionaires too, that take the money that we donate and
Fueled
put it
by
in their
greed.
pockets before it goes into the causes. I can guarantee you they got proof that they have cures for all these things that happen, but it's pharmaceutical. That money is amazing. You know what I'm saying? And
Well, they don't have the cure for those things. The cure for those things are in nature. You know,
exactly.
that's the
And they
importance
know
of
that,
us
which is
eating
why all
healthy. And
these forests are getting burnt up.
yep,
When have you ever
tell it.
heard of a damn forest fire, in a wildfire in Canada, in Hawaii? Like,
No, I think what got me was one of the firemen that worked there said that they decided that they was just going to let it burn until it burned itself out. So it doesn't matter if a month from then it's still burning.
yeah, it's still
They're just
burning and
deciding to
lives are
just
being
let it
lost.
burn.
It's selfish. And I guarantee you, anytime it happens, they have a plan right behind it, because I guarantee you something else gonna come up. But that's how it is. And there also is no profit in love. If we love each other, we're not gonna fight each other. If we love each other, we're not gonna steal from each other. We ain't gonna kill each other. The jails will be empty. If we loved
Absolutely.
ourselves first, none
Tell
of this will be going on, which is why it
And
goes on, which is why the news broadcasts like it does, which is why somebody always getting killed and it's a rile up around the election time. These are specific
strategic.
occurrences, and they do it on purpose.
Yep. If everybody loved each other, we would give freely, and then it would be no purpose to money. The barter
Yep.
system back to the way it was
It used to
naturally
be
and originally.
originally, yeah.
Like, think about it. We get charged for water. Like, think about that. We get
Man, I'm
charged
about to
for
go down
water.
South Carolina
We
and
get
go down to
charged
the
for air.
wells. I mean, to the springs to get some water.
And did you understand that if you don't have a license for that, it's illegal here in America to just take your bucket and go where the water source is free and decide to get you some? It's illegal here. If you decide that you know how to purify water, so you sit buckets outside your house to collect rainwater, that's illegal too.
You know why it's illegal? Because it's natural. All natural things they try to take. It's like ridiculous. Camille says it takes a strong person to carry their own burdens as well as the burdens of others. Yeah, it does. And it's a very selfless act. People don't realize it. It's very selfless, but it can also be a problem, because you could take on so much and take on so much, and people just give to you because you take it. And that's where the boundaries have to come up. That's where you have to take the time for you and realize, hey, this is not mine. I can't keep doing this. Especially those people who come with the same issue all the time. I know we all had those things. I had those things, but nobody wants to, they don't want a solution. They're just trying to get somebody to pick, be on their side. Sometimes you're like, look, you got a problem. You don't want to hear my answer, get on my face. And we even have to do that to ourselves.
And that's a part of self-unconditional love, saying, I don't want to hear the mess.
Now, we have preferably probably about 10 minutes, 11 minutes. We also had the female relationships. Can we go over that in 10 minutes, or do we need more time, but possibly next week?
Next week. In 2 weeks. Yeah. Probably in 2 weeks. No, probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not.
But it sounds like everybody here has felt the pangs, PANGS, or the bite of unconditional love. I think at one point,
conditional. We felt conditional.
No, I don't know, because remember what I just said. When I gave unconditional love, that was money in the bank for me,
which means it was conditional. because you expect it. You
Okay.
expect it.
Okay.
Unconditional is without restrictions by conditions or qualification. There's no expectation in unconditional love.
Even in my maturation and my maturity now, I have yet to see it. There's always a condition, right? There's always a condition. And I don't know how many people here choose to go dark, as we like to say in the military, to go dark and just disappear so that you can digest or get rid of all the information that you've taken in from the givers, you know. But like,
go ahead, Star.
I was just gonna simply say, piggybacking off of what Mo said, that would make me pose or beg the question to the viewers right now. Something for y'all to ponder. Can unconditional love be taught?
God damn. Now listen, look. You see how even Phoenix got to ponder that one. We just don't
I
dead
have
air
a
'cause I
couple
want
of
to shut up.
answers for that, but yes and no. The reason why I say no is because you have to experience being able to give it and not expect something back. You can be taught to love without expectation. You can be taught anything, but until you experience it yourself and go through that process, no. Life is about experiences, and you learn your lessons in different things. The reason why I'm able to do the things that I do now, because I had to go through things to get here. It was not without pain, it was not without failure, it was not without fault. You have to be from somewhere. You have to go through something to get to a place here where you understand and be able to look at people and say, this is who they are. And I got to love them and accept for who they are. It does not just come from somebody telling me. It doesn't come from the Bible. Because the Bible can tell you all day long, you got to love, you got to love, you got to love. That's just somebody telling you. And a lot of us are rebellious because can't nobody tell us nothing. So until you experience it yourself, until you go through things yourself and learn how to let go and forgive and give grace to not only other people, to yourself, no. But yes, you can be taught anything. But until you learn how to do it yourself and learn how to go through it, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, what she literally just said is implementation. You can be taught, but until you learn how to implement it in your own life, you can't give it to anybody else.
Like somebody can teach you how to drive a car, but until you drive that car, you really don't know how to drive. Once you get behind that wheel, then you learn.
So in today's society where we are seeing lack thereof, as Reese Cup just put, there's nothing out here reiterating or embedding that feeling of unconditional love unless it comes from a superstar when it comes to weight gain and shit like that, Lizzo, things like that, right? You're not allowed to talk anything. You're supposed to love the skin that you're in, right? So we're starting to see more of the physical aspect of unconditional love out here. BBLs, all types of shit, right? You're not allowed to talk about anything openly, right? Because that's self-love of them.
That's not unconditional love. That's censorship.
Okay.
You can't.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And then with Lizzo, I think her body positivity movement is a good thing and healthy for women. But watching the way she does it, do you really feel that it's unconditional love for herself? Or is she just looking for acceptance from the masses? Like, we hear what she says, but at the nitty gritty of it, what makes her feel that in order to promote body positivity, she has to be naked while doing it? You can find fitting clothes, just not wearing baggy clothes just because you're bigger can, show an example of body positivity. So then you have to look at who Lizzo is to figure out, is this actually self-love or unconditional love or acceptance? What is it?
I'm trying to teach people to have love for old balls. I want to wear my balls out.
Wear them
I
out.
really no.
Long as you love your balls.
I want to have pants on with my balls just hanging, just
And for the record,
carrying
you
off.
said you want to have your balls out. I want you to remember, everybody has free will. Okay, you're not free of the consequences of those actions.
Say it
So when you
again.
go to jail, it's gonna take me a little while to get your bail money because you wanted old saggy balls
Just
out for the world to see.
And I don't have old saggy balls now. I work on my ball sack. Okay, I put
No, but
lotion
you
on them.
said old balls. I'm just
No,
saying
they
you
gonna
have
live
free
by
will. You
society
can do
He'll get
standards,
there
but I have
eventually.
young testicles. I have young
He'll
testicles.
get there eventually. We just
Well,
had a
I will
wiggy.
take
Was
your
it
word
wiggy
for it.
jiggy jiggy wiggy?
Jiggy Friggy.
Yeah.
Jiggy Friggy.
What's wrong with him?
Jiggy Friggy. What's up, Jiggy Friggy? No, but
Oh,
you
God.
know, this society has no love for anybody. It is all about gain and capitalistic behaviors. So you can't put love in that at all. There's no love in that. There's no love in that. Love is at home. You learn love at home. You give love at home, and it goes into your communities. Anything that's broadcast, anything that's put out there like that, you can't trust, honestly. You really can't.
Well, it is almost time to shut her down.
Camille, he want to wear his balls out until they get bit by a mosquito.
You hear me? Hey, listen, hold on now. I got stories about the military. Oh my God, Fort Polk, Louisiana. First time I got my joint sucked. I was taking a pee by the bog or whatever the hell, the goddamn swamp, and a mosquito got me. You hear me? Yeah, so yeah, I dare not.
Poor thing, Lord have
My
mercy.
genitalia, okay? I've looked at Naked and Afraid, and white women be thinking they brave until them bugs get to their coochie hairs.
Oh, hell no.
Should have never waxed.
Don't send me there, because I'm be fighting everything.
So the gist of this is, in closing, everybody out there, I'm still learning how to give unconditionally. God damn it. I am still doing that. It always comes at a cost for me. Energy, concern. When you listen to a person, it comes at a cost. You think about that person constantly, 100%. You know, and to feel it back, I've never seen it a day in my fucking life, and I'm waiting on the day where there's true unconditional love out here for everybody, not just me.
So
That would be selfish to think like that, but for everybody.
So you're trying to tell everybody that's listening, we don't give you love back, sir?
On condition, because if I say one false goddamn thing, Reese would turn the fuck up right now. Camille would turn the fuck up right now.
Sir.
I was asking you
Just because
about
somebody
me and
cuss
Phoenix.
you out don't mean you don't get unconditional love, because the violation, the tolerance. Okay, let's go back to tolerance, because we ain't got to tolerate your bullshit. That don't mean we don't love you, because you ain't got to tolerate ours either, nigga. Thank you.
Hey, go ahead. I'm just saying.
She dropped the M-bomb on you.
Yeah, because he always talking that smack. Anyway, not for real though. But Mo, you do, and you know you do. So I don't know why you always acting like that. Anywho, Camille, he act up all the time. Camille,
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure, and maybe that's.
I don't think I've ever received it either. But guess what? I'm gonna keep giving it.
I mean, but shit. Maybe that's just trust issues. That's just growing pains.
It is trust issues, and you need to work on that.
Okay.
Anywho, a lot of people do though. It's not just
toilet
you.
Paper. You know how many times my finger ended up with shit on it?
Well, hey,
I don't trust no toilet paper.
That's a personal care. Okay. That ain't got nothing to do with the outside world. Okay. Make adjustments, sir.
Unconditional toilet paper is next.
Look, then it won't break down.
Yes. I have not seen enough plies.
Look, Camille, look.
I need K Quick on this one. I ain't never seen enough toilet paper, bitch. Like, I ain't never seen enough plies that'll help keep my finger fresh, okay?
Scott. I use Scott. I've never had that problem.
Nah, you probably wrap around your knuckles. You probably got
well, if that's what I got to do to not have shitty fingers.
What you got for us, Phoenix? We about to close out. Let's say 59.
All I'm gonna say is just work on you. The only thing you can do is work on you. Unconditional love is it's a word, but again, like Star saying, this is something that you do. We are love. We are love, and we forget that. So if you're love, then you can operate it and you can give it. Don't look for it back. Just give it. The more you pour out, the more can be poured out into you, and it doesn't necessarily have to come from a person. We get provided for in the universe all the time. God gives us what we need. So if we stop looking for other people and other people, you'll get it. And stop expecting people to give you what you can't give yourself. It ain't gonna happen, baby. Give it to yourself, and then you'll get it from wherever you need. You operate in what you need, and you'll receive it.
Star.
I concur.
All right, and with that being said, of course, this is your man GMO, aka non-GMO. I finally got it right down there, everybody. You see that right there, non-GMO, and you can reach me on all platforms. God damn it, I need to change that up my damn self. _MOE on all platforms. I love y'all. I'm out of here.
And you can catch me at the Blue Phoenix Hills everywhere. Tomorrow night on the No Filter Show with Just Star Mo Quick and Tella May Rock. Every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. And both sides of the coins will be back in 2 weeks at 8 o'clock also. I love you too unconditionally, I promise.
And you heard it. Handsome gentleman and lovely lady, you know where to find me. They say, catch me in traffic, just don't run me over. Mwah.
And of course, this is
Both sides of the coin, baby.